If you absolutely need your meat to be paired with some spuds that are true studs, then head to these steakhouses for some creamy and season-filled mashed potato heaven. When it comes to matching mashed potatoes with high-quality meats, Fogo de Chão doesn't mess around. The Brazilian steakhouse sets its garlic mashed potatoes out on the table with house bread as a fluffy gift for you to snack on before you order. You can also enjoy this savory selection along with plantains and polenta. These items are included in unlimited quantities when you order the market table, Fogo de Chão's all-you-can-eat buffet. That's a lot of starch for a steak joint, though it certainly seems to make customers happy. These blitzed freebies are fantastic enough to inspire enthusiastic copycat recipes. And a review of Fogo de Chão on DC Outlook praises these mashed spuds as luscious. Simply put, when you're at Fogo de Chão, the garlic mash is more than a secondary consideration. It's part of the main event. Maybe Morton's the Steakhouse knows something about tubers that the rest of us haven't figured out yet. Their sour cream mashed potatoes offer plenty of indulgence at the end of your fork, with a formula that includes generous amounts of sour cream, heavy cream, and butter. It's pure silken decadence. Quite frankly, these pleasing potatoes are potent enough to be the hero of the entire Morton's experience. As one Yelp reviewer put it, the sour cream mashed potatoes were the only thing that saved the bland steak. It's a rare occasion when the side dish outdoes the main course. And it's worth taking note of when it happens. Exceptional sides can always earn their place at the table, and Morton's mashed potatoes have certainly earned their place.
Great job!
If you're fortunate enough to visit a Firebirds wood-fired grill for a ribeye and some sides, you'll have the chance to be treated to their Parmesan mashed potatoes. This creamy, cheesy selection is a delight when paired with just about any main course. That's just how it works with exceptional culinary sidekicks. Online reviewers have been charmed by the cheesy goodness of Firebirds' marvelous mashed spuds. One TripAdvisor review entitled "Mashed Potato Heaven" declared, "The best thing we ate were the Parmesan mashed potatoes. Yummy!" If you're dining at your local Firebirds and can't resist adding an order to your bill, a family-sized portion will run you about $15. That's pretty much a steal when it comes to an upscale twist on Idaho's most abundant crop. You won't have to ask for the mashed potatoes when you head into Serra Gaucha Brazilian Steakhouse, as their garlic variety will already be on the table. The blank canvas offered by unflavored potatoes provides a perfect opportunity to introduce the aromatic appeal of garlic. Serra Gaucha is named for a mountain range in Brazil, which is pretty much the perfect visual inspiration for mounds of mashed potatoes. Serra Gaucha is also known as a wine-growing region, but whether or not you pair your potatoes with wine is entirely up to you. The fun surprise of finding garlic mashed potatoes on your table is an absolute delight for customers unfamiliar with the Brazilian steakhouse culture. As one Yelp reviewer proclaimed, the biscuits, garlic, mashed potatoes, and bananas were a big hit, especially with the newbies in our group. If you order the mashed potatoes at Fleming's Prime Steakhouse and Wine Bar, be prepared to finish them all up, or take home as many leftovers as you can manage. It's a simple presentation with a sprinkle of herbs, some kosher salt, and fresh butter. And with the price tag of about $15, it's among the cheapest sides on the menu. And for any seafood lovers out there, Fleming's will top its potatoes with North Atlantic lobster for a fuller meal. Texture counts double in Fleming's interpretation of potatoes, with reviews praising them for their divine creaminess. They're also photogenic enough for social media, and potentially even romantic enough to serve as an anniversary treat. But you don't have to be celebrating a special occasion to order Fleming's mashed potatoes. Indeed, they're tasty enough to be worth their own celebration. The homestyle mashed potatoes at Outback Steakhouse buck the upscale trend of other establishments, instead keeping the experience simple, familiar, and thoroughly delicious. They've inspired home chefs to create their own recipes, proving that Outback knows what it's doing when it comes to dressing up tubers for the table. What makes the difference when it comes to Outback's specific spuds? As with some of the most delicious things in life, butter is a key ingredient, as is half and half. The seasoning consists mostly of salt, as well as some black pepper and garlic powder. That's quite the savory balance to spice up the pot without overpowering the simplicity of the main ingredient. Not everything is reliably delicious at LongHorn Steakhouse, but thankfully, they know what they're doing when it comes to mashed potatoes. Some replica recipes call for hearty amounts of heavy cream, sour cream, and butter to achieve the quintessential taste and texture. There are also variations that replace regular dairy with plant-based substitutes so that vegans can get in on the fun as well. But if you want the original LongHorn version, you'll discover the glorious indulgence of mashed potatoes with all the ingredients that make this dish richer than all the billionaires on the planet.
Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
In 2022, Business Insider wrote about the resurgence of LongHorn and reviewed the mashed potatoes with glowing praise, and plenty of customers emphatically agree. As one person declared on X, "I just woke myself up from a dream about LongHorn mashed potatoes because I was saying, out loud." When steakhouse mashed potatoes are good enough to dream about, you know you're onto something special.
I think you may have something here.
If you've heard the term pomme puree, you might be wondering what exactly that is. Well, it's basically the glitziest name for mashed potatoes you'll likely ever encounter at a steakhouse. If you order this sleek side dish at Shula's Steakhouse, you'll receive a plate of perfectly blitzed potatoes. This steakhouse stalwart is clued into the fact that roasted garlic and butter are all it takes to turn plain produce into potatoes so posh that they warrant a new name with French flair. They also include a fair helping of heavy cream, making it clear that they know exactly how to please their clientele. With the location at Walt Disney World, Shula serves Mickey Mouse's biggest fan some of the best mashed potatoes on the planet. The richness of these creamy spuds has earned praise from the likes of gluten-free and dairy-free at WDW, a resource for helping Disney World visitors with dining restrictions find tasty grub around the park. The pomme puree is an especially great choice for gluten-free eaters who can tolerate dairy. As it turns out, the happiest place on earth can become even happier with a side of mashed potatoes. There's nothing especially fancy about the mashed potatoes at Texas Roadhouse, but that might be precisely why they're so popular. Not every steakhouse has to be a luxury experience, after all. Sometimes it should just be a comfort meal, where the prices are reasonable and the mashed potatoes keep things simple. These mashed spuds should prove to the steakhouse industry that ordinary potatoes can be just as lovable as their fluffed-up counterparts, whether they're topped with gravy or left plain. There's truly a mash for every taste. Even straightforward steakhouse mashed potatoes get their share of adoration from the public. TikTokers have pointed out that warming up takeout orders of the loaded mashed potatoes can make them even better. And when online reviewers call your mashed potatoes heavenly, you might want to take advantage of the social clout. But whether or not Texas Roadhouse's potatoes go viral anytime soon, they're clearly already doing something right. As the name suggests, the Chateau mashed potatoes at Del Frisco's Double Eagle Steakhouse are an elegant affair. You'll find them located directly in the center of the side selections menu, though they're anything but low-key. According to the restaurant's Facebook page, you can even order a version called Uptown Del's Potatoes, an opulent upgrade topped with fontina cheese, chives, and truffles.
Uplands, you own everything.
These extras are bougie enough to make ordinary mashed potatoes question their place on the food pyramid. A side dish with such a fancy name is destined to earn a reputation among discerning diners. And indeed, as one Yelp reviewer praised them, OMG, these potatoes were cooked perfectly and flavorful. Copycat recipes trying to capture the Chateau mystique call for heavy cream, cayenne pepper, and skin-on potatoes. But of course, enjoying the real deal calls for a visit to your local Del Frisco's Double Eagle ASAP. The Capital Grille has a capital recipe for crowd-pleasing accompaniments with their Sam's mashed potatoes. This is a creation that makes for a pretty picture on Instagram, as well as a lovely dish on your table. The description on the menu lists red potatoes flavored with butter and sweet cream, which sounds both minimalist and amazing. It doesn't take much to please mashed potato fans, especially when they're as creatively flavorful as Capital Grille's version. This generous steakhouse also offers tips on its website for amateur cooks hoping to perfect a superior mashed potato for their own feasts at home. Consistency depends on dryness, which can be achieved by heating the potatoes for a few minutes in the pot that they cooked in after draining them. Any liquid in the recipe should be heated first as well. This sounds like sage advice for turning out homemade mashed potatoes as delicious as Sam's. If you're hoping to find Wolfgang Puck when you walk into Wolfgang Steakhouse, you'll be a little disappointed. But that disappointment won't last when you get a load of their mashed potatoes. Wolfgang Steakhouse is actually the house of Wolfgang Zwiener, the global restaurateur who used to serve as the head waiter at Peter Luger Steakhouse. This Wolfgang also serves spectacular mashed potatoes, as his customers are delighted to order this smooth side time and time again. And just how silky smooth are the mashed potatoes at Wolfgang's? Food blogger What's Stewin' reviewed his meal at the Seoul, South Korea location and made sure to note the mashed potatoes are extra velvety smooth to the point you could almost consume it with a straw. And a review on Yummy Advisor lauded the lighter texture of the mashed potatoes while comparing them favorably to mousse. That's the sort of praise you can receive when people love you for how you make them feel. And these mashed potatoes definitely make delighted diners feel pretty good.
Jim, to get better than this?
The garlic mashed potatoes at the Keg Steakhouse aren't actually served in a keg, though maybe you can bring your own if you're so inclined. Even though the menu lists them as a singular garlic mashed potato, you really do get an entire order. This skin-included red potato mash offers a healthy dose of flavor, thanks to the inclusion of garlic in the mix. Meanwhile, the skins are a tasty textural surprise hidden among the satiny smoothness of the starch. The end result is a side that really sets itself apart from other steakhouse mashed potatoes. This selection is also competing against the other choices on the Keg Steakhouse menu. Of the 6 items on the accompaniment section, 4 are potato-based, which makes it necessary for this dish to assert itself. And customers clearly believe that it does a splendid job. As one Yelp reviewer declared, "The garlic mashed potatoes will keep me coming back to this place. They had so much flavor." And another satisfied customer had this to say on Reddit: "These are literally the only mashed potatoes I even like, and I can't get enough of them." Serving these mashed potatoes in a keg, or anywhere for that matter, suddenly doesn't sound like such a wild idea anymore.